Hey guys, so today's video is actually going to be about the full moon in Scorpio that's coming up on the 12th. So next week on the 12th at 9:55 a.m. Pacific time, and it's going to be from 22 to 23 degrees of Scorpio. And it's called the flower moon. The significance of this moon is that it's going to be a time of intense emotional reckoning, encouraging us to confront our truths and release what no longer serves us, or to release pains that we hold inside, to go into deep introspection about what we really desire, what we want, and to really dig deep in our baggage that we hold emotionally within ourselves. It can definitely facilitate personal transformation through confrontation and catharsis, paving the way for rebirth and emotional renewal. And I'm just going to close the blinds really quick because I feel like it's too bright. So just give me a moment. Okay. I think that's better now. All right. Sorry. This lighting stuff I'm just constantly wrestling with, huh? Okay. I know I moved that. All right. So anyways, emotional renewal. And basically, it's one of the most magical full moons of the year. But it's one of the toughest full moons of the year. Because if you think about it, Scorpio is ruler of the 8th house. It's the darkest house out of the whole wheel. No one wants to go there because of how dark it is, because of how intense it is. I would even say that it's darker than the 12th, because at least the 12th, you don't really see it. At least in the 12th, it's more hidden away and it's not so much in your face. The 8th house, you see it for what it is, and it's the ghosts that you see, that you feel, and that you experience in your life. So when it comes to a full moon in the sign that rules that house, you can just imagine what that's going to bring up for us. Different things, of course, depending on your rising sign, but no matter what, it's going to be a very emotional experience. So I'll go over that in a second here, of where it's going to hit for you according to your rising sign. And then we'll go over the themes of that house. Hold on one second. All right. So I got the list of all the signs here and the rest of my notes, so we can go over it. First, before we start looking ahead, take a moment to look back at what was happening in your life 6 months ago. So this would be back around November, like end of October, beginning of November. What changes were happening? What shifts were you experiencing? Like there was something changed, some dramatic change happened, or a shift happened. So those situations are going to be reaching a culmination now, that may be tied to what you were working on around that time, because then it was a new moon in Scorpio. So now we're having our full moon, right? So kind of look back then, all the memories, all the changes, everything. And then you'll get a better idea as to what this is really going to be about. And let's see. The fixed signs are going to be impacted the most. So that means Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius, and Leo. Especially since we have Pluto retrograde in Aquarius right now, it's going to be bringing up even more stuff, right? Between May 9th to the 16th, it will be very important for us to stay centered as much as we can, because that is the time frame that we might feel the most ungrounded. So just to like ground ourselves and do some meditations if we feel like we're being overwhelmed with emotions or within our head, you know, just kind of release that. But there was something else I wanted to go over, in particular, some other aspects that are happening. But I'll just go over the brief description here. It's from the Farmer's Almanac Full Moon Astrology report. So I wanted to read that. So Taurus and Scorpio, like I said, are fixed signs. They fully embody the essence of their seasons, spring and fall, right? So Taurus is ruled by Venus, which represents love, and Scorpio is co-ruler of Mars with Aries, but also a ruler of Pluto. And that is all about passion and rebirth. So there's like some passionate rebirth experience in our love, in the way we love and who we love in our relationships. So this pair of opposites relates to wealth, power, sensuality, and intimacy. And it's one of the most powerful polarities in the zodiac, Taurus and Scorpio, because they're such extreme directions, such extreme opposites, such extreme feelings. So it's from like great abundance to lack of abundance. But this polarity brings a significant focus on value, worth, trust, and intimacy. So we're going to be finding ourselves investigating our self-worth. Like, how much do we love ourselves? How much do we care about ourselves? Do we recognize how worthy we are? Do we recognize how amazing we are in ourselves without needing validation from anybody? And is it possible for us to go on a deeper level of intimacy with other people? And deeper intimacy, you know, we tend to think that intimacy is just the skin, it's just the sexual experience, it's just the physical experience, but that's not true. True intimacy involves emotions, emotional experiences, connecting emotionally through the heart, whether it be through love, mutual feelings of love, or pain even. That's what true intimacy is. Recognizing another person's vulnerability and seeing their vulnerability, expressing that, is true deep intimacy. It doesn't sound as exciting as the physical, right? It's not the hot sex or the, like any kind of sexual experience. Yeah, sure, it's not as exciting, but at the core of it, it is far more deeper than anything physical. And I think that that's what we're really going to recognize and feel, especially around this time. because it does have links to self-worth as well. Taurus is an earth sign, obviously, grounding us in the natural world and our senses, beauty, romance, and sensuality in all forms. Yet, on the opposite end, Scorpio, a water sign, is equally like the great abyss of the sea or a mighty volcano, all-encompassing and devouring. With the energy of Taurus, we live in the moment. With Scorpio, we seek to transform ourselves and the moment to become something altogether new. When it comes to the astrological aspects coloring this lunation, there are many to focus upon. But let's talk about the full moon in its opposition to Uranus, because Uranus is still in Taurus right now, right? So that means chaos, sudden surprises, random twists of fate are likely to pop up near this time. Because of that, some people could win big, while others end up on the losing side. Beware of impulsivity, accidents, recklessness, and breakdowns. People will be unpredictable, I guess you could say, emotionally. The full moon is in a more distant applying aspect to both Saturn and Pisces and Neptune, the planet of spirituality. So this should aid some of us in trying to find a cool, calm, and sensitive approach to handling whatever pops up in our life. If we take a step back, think to the long term, and practice peace and compassion, we could tilt the odds in our favor if we practice peace and compassion. Connecting with art, beauty, and pleasure could be quite enjoyable. So then, of course, we have Pluto, who is the planetary ruler of the lunation, right? And that is going to be directly square Mercury, which could cause power struggles or intensity around mind and communications with others. And then, of course, since Scorpio also rules Mars with Aries, it's a perfect time. It's in a perfect trine with Venus as well. So that is ensuring that once again, if we focus on leading with love regarding relationships that we have with others, or pleasure, joy, and romance, we're likely to enjoy this time. Those are the main themes. So yeah, it's just going to be a very transformative experience that inspires us to awaken our souls, our spiritual side. Because we just never know what life's going to throw at us, right? That's just how life is. You never know what to expect. You never know what's going to happen next. And it is kind of scary, especially when you feel like you're in a very uncertain time in your life. But we've all been going through a lot of changes and a lot of evolving, a lot of evolution, I think. We are all going through that. And so it's best to not fear whatever comes our way, but just to stay centered within ourselves and practicing self-love, practicing peace within us. All right, so Aries, you guys are going to have this in your 8th house. So there is definitely going to be something transformative for you, right? You have a full moon there. This could mean that something is happening to your partner something is affecting your loved ones, because the 8th house is the house of the other. So you could witness some kind of transformative experience happening with someone in your life. People might be coming to you for support or comfort in some way. And then for Taurus, you guys have this in your 7th house. You could be experiencing some transformative experience in your relation to some people in your life. Perhaps there is a change in status, like with somebody in regards to you, or there is an ending to a particular partnership, or there's a blossoming of a partnership, whatever it is, but it's involving the 7th house. For Geminis, it's going to be in your 6th house. So I would say there is some, maybe you've been testing out some new fad diet or some, new exercise routine or something, and you're waiting to see the results. And this is kind of like the time period where you're kind of looking back and reflecting, did that work? Did it give me the results I wanted, or something like that? Some change in your routine that you started about 6 months ago. And then for Cancer rising, you guys have this in your 5th house. So I would say that this could be something that you started romantically, some new romantic interest that you that started about 6 months ago. And this could be the time where it's either continuing, or you're kind of reassessing how you feel about this person and whether it's working for you or not. Either that, it's like you're either going to go to the next step or you're going to call it quits. So one of those two. Leo rising, we have this in our 4th house, Leo. So there's something shifting in our beliefs to home. There's something that is like, we've been learning something about like our home life, our beliefs in what a family is, and it's been changing. So there is a new experience, or we're learning something new about our past and how it has affected us and how it has created turmoil within our self-worth and our confidence. And I think that's what it's really going to be about. We are learning things about ourselves through others as well, because this is connected to the 7th house. Since Pluto's there, Pluto is retrograde in the 7th. So we could be finding out some harsh truths about people. And that triggers a transformation within us. It transforms us in the way that we either see that person, people, whoever it is. And in a way, it also teaches us something about our past. It teaches us something about how we relate to others and how it is influenced because of what we believe relationships should look like based off of our childhood experiences. So it's going to be not an easy full moon, but I think we've been already going through these things already, right? It's just kind of been the theme. But that's what it's going to be for us. It's really going to come out then. Then for Virgos, you guys have this in your 3rd house. So I think that this is going to be some kind of change in the way you communicate to others. You could be going on some trip as well, or learning something. It's something that you're going to learn about, some new learning experience or a skill that you developed starting 6 months ago. And for Libras, you guys have this in your second house. So this is something to do with your income. Maybe you started some new form of earnings 6 months ago. So it's like you're seeing the fruits of your labor in a way. You're kind of seeing the results of it. Is it successful? Is it something that you can build even more upon? That's what I see for you guys. Or it could be like the end of a business pursuit and like the start of something new as well. And then for Scorpios, you guys obviously have this in your first house, right? So this is something that's transforming your persona. Something is shifting in the way you appear. Your identity is changing. You started some shift in your identity about 6 months ago, and now you are seeing the results of having that new identity. And you will know if you want to continue pushing forwards on that, or if you need to make some changes in the way that you are expressing yourself. Because that's also the house where you express who you are and how you come off to others. So whatever you've been trying out with the way you are being perceived, you're seeing the results of that new persona that you've had or started 6 months ago. That in turn does affect your relationships as well, because you have Taurus in your 7th house. So whatever persona you've been giving off, whatever vibe shift you had 6 months ago is going to affect your relationships to other people. Has it had a good effect on your relationships, or has it had a bad effect? And then Sagittarius, you guys have this in your 12th house. So I think for you guys, this is going to be, it's more of a hidden house, right? So I think if anything, it's like you could go on a retreat. You could benefit from doing some kind of spiritual activities. This is more of a subconscious house, so it's not really in your face, but maybe dreams. You could be going through some kind of transformative experience within your dream state. And then for Capricorn rising, you guys have this in your 11th house. So it could be the end of certain friendships or groups that you've been a part of. Maybe you want to start something different. And so it's like you're kind of tired of hanging out with a certain group. And so you're switching it up. Or you have been starting to hang out with, like 6 months ago, you were trying out a new group. And now you're weighing out whether or not you want to continue that or whatever aspiration you have. Aquarius rising, you guys have this in your 10th house. So this is about your reputation, your career, your status. So I think for you guys, it's exactly that. You know, you are going to reassess whether or not you are happy with where you are career-wise. Do you want to change your status? Or do you want to continue on the career path that you've been taking in a way that also affects your 4th house, right? So it's also going to depend on your family as well in that regard. For Pisces, you guys have this in your 9th house. So this is going to have to do with your long distance travels, your spirituality, your philosophy, your beliefs. This could also have to do with a foreigner, someone who is far from you. Maybe a relationship started 6 months ago with somebody that's far away from you. And now it's like you are at a point where you're deciding and reassessing that relationship. And so you want to see, kind of go from there. Or it's like a new spiritual practice even Maybe it's like a guru or a mentor, a teacher of some kind that you started following 6 months ago. And so now you're going to see, reassess how that's been going and whether you want to continue on with that. So anyways, that's what I have for you guys for this full moon in Scorpio. I hope you guys liked it. And until next time, peace out.